What's up, nerds? Welcome back. Today I'm talking about why are you still here? Yes, so as you can see, I have here in my hands Crush and Lobo number 5. Now, you may be wondering, because I said I was pretty much done with this, I didn't even want to know how it ended, but I kind of do. And mostly because it's an 8-issue miniseries. This is 5. That means there are 3 more after this. They cannot come fast enough. But let's just talk about what we do have here, okay? So, if you will remember, there's the whole thing that's going on where Lobo was in prison. He convinced Crush to come and talk to him because he actually got her to believe, I turned over a new leaf. So she comes over, and surprise, surprise, it was a trick to get her to stay in prison for him, even though that made no sense either, because somehow they just assumed it was her, that it was him, even though they should have been able to tell by any type of scans or pictures or anything that it wasn't him. And so that's basically how they kind of ended up figuring it out. Like, oh, this actually isn't Lobo. So then they give her a mission. They said, okay, you're going to have to go and find him and bring him back, even though it wasn't really your fault that he left. And just to make sure that you actually do it, we're going to put this ultra taser watch on you, even though Zarnians can regenerate. And someone in my comments on the last one, or was it the one before that? Anyway, someone was like, couldn't she just cut off her hand and then like leave the thing behind and then just, regrow the hand? Which, yeah, she could. It's right here, like a watch. So, I mean, she could just cut it off right there, leave the hand somewhere in space and just go on about her business. But apparently, and not only that, somehow this thing just like electrocuting her would be enough to overcome her Zarnian genealogy and she wouldn't be able to regenerate from that. At first I thought it was a bomb, but she even says in here, Step 2, find Lobo. Before this prison thingamabob electroshocks me into a Zarnian crisp. So anyway, she goes because apparently they gave her like the keys to, I don't know if they use his keys, but they gave her a way to like get off of the planet like a ship or whatever. So she goes up to the one that they gave her and she's like, ugh, no, not that one. I want a different car or whatever. So this is where they're still watching her and they're like, what is she doing? She's stealing a ship? We gave her a ship. Like, I know we work with criminals, but okay. Okay. You see these characters down here? Those are robots. Why are they talking like Earth millennials? Like, I know we work with bad guys, but ugh, can you believe her? Calm down, Robo Mary. This is not the time to be talking stupid, Tamaki. I'm talking to you. Anyway, so the other one's like the subject is clearly accessing her inner rage sequence. And then I think it's the warden or whatever. Says predictable, but perhaps that will make her effective. So then we do this thing where she's apparently following Lobo's breadcrumbs, which just is cigar butts that apparently he leaves literally just everywhere, like some sort of like trail. So that's what she's using to follow him and shit. And then they even have this thing where she calls the cigar butts disgusting. All right. I mean, it's Lobo's thing, and that's like probably the least offensive thing he does, smoke. But anyway, she even says like littering, gross, even in space. Well, I don't know about that because what is it destroying in space? You know what I mean? Like they're little cigar butts. If anything, once they get close enough to a planet and they're like sucked into the atmosphere or whatever, they'll just burn up on entry. So I mean, it's not doing anything to space. Anyway, so she says, your basic Lobo stuff or whatever, and then she finds like where she's getting closer to where he's going, or yeah, to where she thinks he is. So she sets foot on this one planet and immediately is yelled at by someone saying, hey, I give you permission to land. She's like, permission? So she turns around and sees it's this guy, this two-headed king thing, alien, whatever. And she's saying, because he said, this is my property. She's like, you own this planet? So this is planet, I'm assuming she said asshole. And he's like, oh, so you think you're funny? She's like, I mean, generally, in my opinion, I am the funny one. No, you're not. And then she's like, but then I was a Teen Titan, not a super funny bunch. Yeah, the Teen Titans have never been known for anything humorous. So the king is saying, like, well, I am the king of this planet, and unless you have permission, which you don't, you need to get the fuck out of here. And she's like, oh, yeah. So all of a sudden, he plays this, like, flute or whatever to summon his minions to come and attack her. And she's saying, like, you don't see a lot of space flutes. So all of a sudden, the space flute summons all these space lizards, which you might think, okay, we're about to get some sort of cool action sequence where she fights these giant lizards and shit. So she has to give us the fun facts about space lizards. Can you guess what the first one was? I know you can. Give it a second. Can you guess what the first fact about space lizards is? Yes, it's that they live in space. Thank you for that. Anyway, so she says they hate sitcoms and poetry. Weird combination, but all right. They're carnivorous and generally baritones. Oh, and one other thing we can see, like, as they're, like, leaping at her and shit. The other thing, oh, yeah, it's that apparently Batman is wanted. No, this is... I hate when they do this shit. Apparently space lizards love her. Because you know how Lobo has a thing for space dolphins? Yeah, apparently her thing is space lizards. They just implicitly love her. Anyway, she's like, maybe an alien pheromone thing? Who knows? So she turns to the king, is like, big mistake. Huge. So since she sends like the lizards back after him, and I think that they do end up eating him at some point because she's like asking him questions. She says, "Where is Lobo?" And he's like, who's Lobo?" So she's like, "He was here." And then she says, "It's just going to take a little time to get the information I need." So she's like, "Wrong answer." So she's like, "I have a little time. I also have some likely hungry lizard friends." So she tells them, "You know what to do," as they're like putting on like eating bibs and shit. So the king is in there like, no, 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 no. And then anyway, we see like this giant yelling sound effect where I guess they were chewing on him for a while. Anyway, she's like, so long story short, Lobo was here to get some money and a package before heading off to the coordinates provided to me by a king who's now missing a pinky. And maybe something else if he's not nice to the lizards who stayed behind. All right. So anyway, she's like, let's see, what the heck is this? Because she shows up to the next location with a whole bunch of, like, the space lizards in tow. So they pull up, and she sees someone, like, down there yelling at her, like, hello, you. And she's like, well, isn't this a lovely surprise? I so rarely get visitors. And one thing I noticed from here, this alien that she's encountering, why is she dressed like Peggy Bundy? Why does she look exactly like Peggy Bundy? Like... is this supposed to be like some sort of married with children thing? Like, what the hell? Anyway, but it's not, because Peggy is not this friendly and as much of like a caretaker, as we're gonna see. Like, she offers her like food and shit. They come inside and it looks like she keeps the house pretty. Like, I mean, look at this. She even has love and believe like any suburban white woman. I don't, God. Anyway, so she's like, okay, just walking into your house. So she walks in, and then she says, so, quick question. I'm looking for an intergalactic nightmare named... She's like, holy crap, because apparently they're married. So we have this, where they have that giant picture of them, like, kissing, I think, on like their wedding day. Or, no, he's, like, holding a sheet or something. I don't know, I guess they were naked. It doesn't get any better the more you look at it. Anyway, so she's saying, like, oh, that's me and my little puppy dog, my Lobo. Oh, God. My name is Julia, and you are Crush, my little pumpkin's baby girl. So she offers her a chocolate chunky cookie. So she does that, and of course, Crush starts eating the damn thing. She's like, this is me eating delicious cookies. Yeah, because we couldn't literally just see that. Anyway, she's like standing in front of the woman with the worst tasted men in the universe as she's like pouring her milk and shit. So she says Julia is in love with Lobo, who was just fucking here and is possibly out of cigars by now, because we can see he left like a whole ashtray full of cigars. So she's telling her, like, thanks to him I had fresh chunks for today's cookies. She says, hey, not because this painting is making me ill, but can we go outside? So they go outside, and she's telling her, like, I hate to tell you this, but your apple has worms. She says, we all need worms, Creshy. Worms are how the garden grows. She's like, Lobo's not a gardener, Julia. He's dangerous. They put him in prison with world destroyers because that's what he is. And then she says, well, that's his work. Everyone needs a vocation. And then she says, look, I know he seems interesting or charismatic, but she's like, you love who you love, my girl. Not much a person can do about it. So this is where Crush gets a little annoyed, says, he tried to kill me more than once. He just used me to get out of prison. If you love him, and I'm sorry if you do, all that does is make you vulnerable because you think the people you love can't hurt you. But really, that's when we get you. And we get the flashback to her breaking up with Katie. So, and then this is when she like went off on her own thing, and we get another like shot of Katie right there up in the fucking corner. So she's getting ready to take off, and Julia's telling her like, well, thank you for coming by or whatever. And she says like, he was here. And Julia says he was. So she's like, tell me where he went. She says, I honestly don't know. You don't know him like I do. And she's like, yes, I do. No, you really don't. Anyway, she's like, if you're smart, you'll stay away from him. And then she's like thinking to herself, but of course you won't, will you? Because she goes and sneaks back and she can hear Julia talking to him on the phone, where she's like, oh, okay, like you need money or something like that. She says, hello, puppy, how's my little Lobo puppy? She's like, yes, she was here. Yes, you're so clever, you were right. And he's telling her like, I bet you did exactly as you were told. She says, I did. I told her I had no idea where you were. He's like, that's my girl. So she says, she seems like a very troubled soul. And he says, runs in the family as he's doing it. Like, this is probably the only interesting page from this whole damn book so far. And so he's doing his thing where he's like killing people and shit. So this is where she asks him, like unprovoked, she just asks, you need money, my bouncy Lobo bear? And he's like, a man could always use a little pocket change, which, yeah. Anyway, so she's asking, where should I send it? And he's like, all right, got a pen? So Lobo, or Crush, is over there like, she's sending him fucking money. He gets what he wants, takes what he wants. I am the spawn of scum. So then we see Julia just like dancing around and singing shit as there's a lizard like sneaking some of the cookies from behind her. So Crush is saying world destroying, heart destroying scum. And then we see where she apparently has 23 text messages, of which she says only 3 of these are texts from the space lizards, which how did they send you? You know what? It doesn't matter. So we see that the rest obviously are from Katie, who's doing this whole thing, like her whole heartbroken shit, where she's like texting her saying like, I'm just going to text you until you answer because that's what cool people do. Anyway, she sent a message saying, I think maybe you think that because things are hard that we're going to have to break up. And she started typing like, I don't want to break up. And then she quickly deletes that and sends out the message. I'm worried about you. I wish we could talk about things. She says, I'm eating triple cheese pizza now, just FYI. And then she says, I hope wherever you are, you're safe. And then we see where she gets another message from the warden saying, tick-tock. She's like, yeah, tick-tock. So she tells like the lizards to like strap in after they refill her like travel mug with more coffee. She's like, buckle up back there. We've got one more stop. We're going to the planet they call Space Vegas. So this is where we see that's where Lobo is, as he's like surrounded with women. He's got the feather boa on. He's not wearing a shirt for whatever reason. And then she's like saying to maim. Then she crosses that out, says destroy. Crosses that out and says get Lobo. And then she says, will I totally lose my shit and pull out all his teeth and sell them online? It might happen. Tune in next month to find out. So yeah, like I said, we can see he's here at the casino table, literally just eating his food, literally on the roulette table and shit. And yeah, that's where we leave off on this for now. So just, I do it to myself, so I try not to be too hard on myself that I read this, but it's not getting even remotely better. Like I can literally feel us getting up to the climax, the main confrontation, you know what I mean? And I still don't care enough. I just want it to be over. Like I want them to either cancel the series or say, actually, you know what? We're just gonna shove everything into the next issue and then we're done. You know? I would be totally fine with that, but I get the feeling that's not what's gonna happen here. So I don't know. I guess tune in to see if I actually do finish it out. I probably will, because like I said, there are only 3 more issues left. That doesn't make it better, but I mean, I'm already here. I've gotten past the halfway mark. There's no real reason to just quit the race, is there? So yeah, we'll see what happens. I already know it's not going to be interesting or satisfying, but we'll see what ends up happening. So yeah, if you read this story, yeah, feel free to let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. I don't really expect much, because I don't really see this being like anybody's favorite series or anything, so Yeah, that's going to do it for my review on this. So, like I said, share your thoughts with me down in the comments below. If you like the video, then definitely like the video. Make sure you're subscribed and share out the video if you would like. I appreciate it. Yes, even with these kind of videos. But anyway, if you're done here, go and read a book, just not that one. And if not, then I'll see you on my next video.